bottle opener. Hi guys and welcome to the Craft Beer channel. This week we've got more of an apology than a video. I have been insanely busy, but I promise you it's with very, very good reason. We've been working on quite a few cool projects. First of which, and the one that's taken all the time and meant that we've missed a couple of uploads in the past couple of months, is that we have scored ourselves a book deal. Yeah, so that was a surprise. And it was like buses, we've actually got a second one now as well, but we've been working on the first one for about a year. We're really, really proud of it. We can't tell you too much, but details, a couple more details are on our brand new website, which is the other project we've launched, so I can show you that. My face has probably just gone yellow because the website is absurdly yellow. It looks white on the camera, but that's cool. I'm not really into this blogging thing, I'm not very good at it. But you can go to thecraftbeerchannel.com and we've got some blogs up there, we've got news about the books and a couple of other things going on. Oh, God, who's that idiot? Shush you! Enough of that. Let's talk about beer. So, in front of me, I have what was, according to one website, voted one of the best 10 beers in the world. Now, given that all of the other ones were American and it was an American website, that's quite a lot of kudos to the British brewers, the guys at Cloudwater. We went down and we saw how they brew this particular beer. If you want to see that, click down here. But for this video, I just want to do something we haven't ever really done on the Craft Beer channel, which is a bit of craft blending. So these two beers were released at the same time, two dippers, V4 and V5. And they are identical beers, except for one very fundamental change, which is when they've been dry hopped. So V4 has been dry hopped while the fermentation is still going on, which results in this process called biotransformation, which we've talked about on the channel before, which is it's basically the hops and the yeast intermingling and having chemical reactions between the two, which doesn't really happen in brewing if you don't add it during fermentation. If you add it before the fermentation, then you've filtered out your hops. If it happens after fermentation, then the yeast isn't doing anything. So it's that key sweet spot. And usually it was avoided by brewers, but now they're starting to do it and they're starting to get all these stone fruits kicked out of the yeast, and arguably it heightens the citric aroma as well. But V5 has been done after fermentation. But I'm going to crack them both, try them both individually, and then we're going to blend them and see if we come up with an even better beer. So I'll start with V4, which is the one that was hopped during fermentation. This is in a Craft Beer channel glass. You can get it at beermerchants.com. Wow, I can smell it from here. I'm going to crack V5 at the same time because I think they're going to look quite different. And they really do. So you should be able to see that V4 here is much darker. Somehow darker but somehow clearer. This one looks like an East Coast kind of Merc bomb. And this one looks more like a West Coast slightly hazy, the kind of thing the camera wouldn't like, but everyone else is like, yeah, that's normal. So let's get the aroma on this bad boy. Yeah, that's pretty juicy, but there's an oniony, garlicky kind of quality to it as well. Possibly an earthy kind of quality, which you can get if the hops are in the fermenter for too long, or if the beer is very, very green, very fresh. Or if you just wanted that, you wanted that dank kind of thing going on. The aroma on the V5, that's much more resinous. The juice isn't quite as prevalent. So that looks like an East Coast and smells like a West Coast, and that looks like a West Coast and smells like an East Coast. Super juicy, yeah, loads of stone fruit, loads of the peach and the apricots that you hopefully expect from this kind of style that you're looking for. Yeah, and that's a harsher hop flavour. Gets you at the back of the throat, really piney and resiny, kind of pine needle kind of thing, like sniffing a Christmas tree. But there's still that fruit behind there. They're both beautiful, but I definitely prefer V4. So next what we're going to do is a bit of blending. So blending is possibly not something you're particularly familiar with, not something that a lot of people do because they're scared they'll waste good beer. But black and tan can be a great idea. Mixing one of these with a black IPA or a porter can result in a very different, very exciting beer. So I've got 2 more glasses. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 50-50 of one. I need to invite some friends over to finish these, guys. It could be a really tricky Monday. And then what I'm going to do, because this is my favourite, I'm going to pour 75% of this one and 25% of my less favourite. And a healthy portion of the second blend. So let's see what we get different with the 50-50 blend. It's more rounded, it's danker than V4, exactly as you'd expect, but less dank than V5, less harsh on the citric aromas and the pine needles. I think it's also teased out a bit of garlic. That's smoother than the other two. Definitely, if you're looking for a beer that, and you're not at 9%, but a beer that just slips down really easily, that's perfect because all of the flavours have been balanced. You've got a little bit of dankness, a little bit of resin, a little bit of stone fruit, and a little bit of, you know, the citrus, the grapefruits and the mangoes and that kind of thing. That's panned out really, really nicely. Wow, that's juicy. But it's got booze and it's got orange and it's got pithiness. Hardly any dankness at all now. I mean, my palate is probably a bit smashed, but I'm not getting a lot of that dankness with this one. Yeah, that just coats the tongue in that stone fruit. Loads and loads of peach going on there. That's really lovely. Somehow adding that oniony, garlicky dankness, that very West Coast kind of edge to it, has rounded it out and teased out lots and lots more juice from somewhere I've got no clue. Now in our book we will have some advice on blending, some advice on aging, advice on storing, all the things that you can do at home to improve your tasting experience of the beers. So watch out for the announcement soon. Next week I'm in China making a very special film in Beijing. So there'll be an upload next week which I need to finish. But otherwise, I'll speak to you guys in 2 weeks, hopefully with a big announcement of the book and where you'll be able to buy it. Cheers!